I'm so excited to try these meth cakes.
Oh, crystal meth cupcakes are my absolute favorite. They're my specialty.
Oh,
They are a family recipe that have been passed down from my bald fathers before me,
um,
and I've got a secret ingredient:
what is your secret ingredient today, Tom?
chili peppers.
What?
Give it
Oh,
that nice spicy kick to it.
audience at home, when you are making your meth cakes, have some chili peppers handy. I've got some jalapeno poppers that I'm adding to the top of my meth cake. So we were thinking on the same wavelength. So let's just do a little decoration and we'll show the audience. I'm also going to dust with a little bit of cocaine, the Sydney's finest, yeah, just a little bit of that. Do a little bit
It's
here.
okay to mix. Then it becomes almost like a cocktail. It's fancy at that point.
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
gonna sprinkle on a little bit of Walter White's classic blue meth
Please, yes. Oh, so fantastic.
to Heisenberg.
Mm. L'chaim. Mm.
Mm. Woo!
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah!
Let's go.
That's good crystal meth.
We fooled you. Crystal meth cupcakes? Come on. I'm going to have to wait at least till episode like 500 before I actually do that. Oh my gosh. No, my guest today, the one, the only, Tom Holman from Toronto. Dude, I haven't seen in a minute, so I'm so glad he is here with me. Not to make crystal meth cupcakes, my friends. No way. We are making tahini cookies. Tahini cookies. Woohoo! I cannot think of a better way to start off a brand new month on It'll Be Fine, the month of April, than with this. Oh my gosh, I love me a cookie. I love me some tahini. This is going to be a good time today, and I'm so glad you are joining us. And because this is a brand new month, we are offering love to two new groups, the first of which is ACT, the AIDS Committee of Toronto. Info on them is in the show description. If you are at all able to help them out, please do. They would appreciate it. I would appreciate it. You'd be doing a whole lot of good for a good group of people. And here's a little fun, quick story. April Fool's Day. It is my fake birthday. April is my birthday month. I will claim the whole month. I'm going to do it. It's my show. But here's the thing. April Fool's, 1978, my mom went into labor with me, and my mom and dad were at home watching something on TV. My dad said to her, "Do you mind waiting until the credits are over?" And they did. When they got to the hospital, there was a nurses' strike. And then I came into the world 2 days later. So I figured that is the best April Fool's joke I can play on my mom. I have never played one on her since. I love you, Mom. I have to say that because this is going to air on April Fool's. Anyhow, friends, I'm going to make sure my mom's got some cookies. I promise you, Mom, you will have some cookies. Tahini cookies today to start off April. It's going to be fun.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Alrighty, so for the tahini cookies, Tom and I are doing a little variation on this, but here is what you're going to need for the version I am doing. You'll need some all-purpose flour, some powdered sugar. We need unsalted butter, about a half a stick. We need tahini. I've got some brown sugar, considered raw sugar, you know, that good crunchy stuff. I have in here a mix of sesame and chia seeds and salt, kosher salt. That is all you need, friends. Easy peasy.
I agree. Yeah. I gotta be honest. I had no idea what tahini was before you sent me that. Um, but the more I read about it, the healthier it sounded, and so I'm all for it now.
Yeah, this is fully part of a healthy breakfast.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I'm just trying to think like when I last saw you Has it been what, like 20 years? I feel like it's been
It feels like it. Yeah. Yeah. I honestly don't know. It was sometime when shows were not illegal to have. Um,
Yeah. There was no pandemic. There was
yeah.
no
Yeah.
pandemic. Whenever that, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's a bajillion year. It just feels like it's been a while. I
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
and to make it even longer as well, I didn't perform in Toronto very often, so there's a good chance that it's been like 2 years, maybe.
I feel like the last time I saw you was at that pub in Etobicoke.
Oh, the old
Old
sod.
Sod. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like that's when I last saw you.
yeah, that was always a fun room to do. That was very it was great some nights, but then some nights it was just real low, but it was always fun.
It was. Were you there the night there was a St. Patrick's Day show, and there was a bunch of folks who I guess had just come off shift from some restaurant, and they were heckling the comics, but not in a you suck way, but in a you're amazing, do better, you're good. It was like it was
Yeah.
weird heckling.
I don't know if I was there for that specific night, but that sounds like something that happened there pretty regularly. Just there, you always had like an odd bunch of people who weren't there for a comedy show, but then they just kind of got bombarded with open mic comedy jokes. And
Yeah.
by the sounds of it, that's like probably the best outcome to have. At least like they were like into it.
They were super into it. It was just so hard. I remember when I went up, it was so hard to navigate, although appreciated. That joke was great. Thank you. I remember distinctly at that show, there was a comic who, for some reason, I had in my head was you, but someone just laid down on the floor and did their set because they were like, fuck it, no one's.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
That's Cheryl.
Yeah.
And the way that this recipe starts, you need a big bowl to mix things in. So do you have a bowl to mix things in?
I do. I got a bowl
Amazing.
right here.
Nice. All right. I've got this guy. And what we are going to toss into this is our all-purpose baking flour. One. Done.
Tossed.
You need some kosher salt. This is easy. It's crazy. So simple. You need, if you have powdered sugar, or are you doing an alternative to the sugar for this one?
I'm doing not an alternative to the sugar, but I've got some brown sugar
Nice.
rather than using the powdered sugar.
Okay. Good call.
About three-quarter cups of brown sugar.
Awesome. Lovely. Yeah, you can totally do that. You can use stevia for this if you want to, or you can do like honey if you want to. You may have to like alter how much you're to use. But yeah, I've got the powdered sugar for this guy. Done. And then you need your tahini, just a third of a cup.
Here's my tahini right here.
Excellent.
Adding my cup full of tahini. Mine actually called for a little bit more than that. It was, I think it was about three-quarters of a cup for tahini as well.
That's right, because you used, I guess, an updated recipe from Bon Appetit for this one.
It was on the same site, but it just added a few other things. The amounts were a little bit different, and then it also added honey.
Right.
Honey and vanilla extract as well.
Right, honey and vanilla. Yeah, which sounds great. So I'm doing the recipe for those watching at home. It's in the link. This is the one I initially sent Tom, but you can fool around with this however you want. I don't care. And then you need half a stick of unsalted butter. If you're at home and all you have is salted butter, that's totally fine. Just don't add the salt in the recipe because then you're just over salting. But if that's all you have, that's fine. No judgment. You just have to mix this together. This is very easy.
Perfect. Perfect. Before we continue, I should explain. I'm not very well set up for cooking or baking at all. I'm in my bedroom currently, and I've stolen some supplies from my kitchen. I have roommates, and they have a right to occupy the space right now. So I'm just trying to stay out of their way.
Cool.
I also don't have an electric mixer, so I got to do it the old-fashioned way. So it might get a little bit messy.
That's all good. You can do a little elbow grease. What I will suggest, before you get to working the elbow there, if you could head into the kitchen and turn on the stove to 350.
Yep, I'll get that preheated right now.
Go do that.
Give me 1 second.
Sure. Oh, me and you're all fancy pants. You can stick this in a KitchenAid, or you do a tombstone and just build the muscle.
Yes, do it the old-fashioned way.
The way our parents did it. Yeah. All right. Put that together. Now there's no eggs for this recipe. It is an eggless, so it's good for our vegan friends. If you're doing the butter, then you'd use like a vegan butter, if you so choose. But yeah, there we are. I like a healthy cookie. This does give you the illusion you're doing something good. Gives you the false hope you need to get through the pandemic.
Yeah.
All right. I definitely need more butter in mine. Add that.
Yeah. I do have an emergency egg here that I'm going to keep on reserve just in case. I'm not sure how the dough is going to form, but I've got it here just in case I need to help it bind up a little bit.
I think that's a good plan.
I always try to keep an egg around just in case. You never know when they come in handy.
Be a strange man at a bar. Just be like, like, no. That's funny. Yeah, this is I'm gonna trust this recipe. I have my doubts. I'm like, this can't be right.
It's almost too simple, eh? That's why I looked around for a different one just to see what other recipes were like. Because I was like, there's no way it's this easy. Everybody talks about how baking is difficult and it's like chemistry, and it's like in this one you've got like three different ingredients and you like throw them into a bowl and they're done in like 15 minutes. I was like, there's no way that I've been holding back off of baking when it's this easy.
See, my therapist would say, why do you think that? And he'd analyze our thought process.
Listen, I'm not. If you want to start the therapy session, you're going to need more time. All right, I got 30 years of suppressed emotions to work through.
Oh man, I started therapy in the pandemic, so I've been doing the online therapy thing, and it's been enlightening. It really, really has been. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I've said stuff like that to him of like, oh, this just seems too easy. And he's like, why is it too easy? And then I'm like, I don't know.
See, I don't think I would do well with that. I'd be like, I don't know, man. Just can't you just let me like feel how I feel and just move on from there? So what, if you don't mind me asking, what online service are you using? Because I've heard of like BetterHelp, but what other are out there?
What did I do? I noticed a post. I feel like about 3 weeks into April of 2020. I'm part of a Facebook group called Caremongers Toronto, which is a great little Facebook group that if you need help with food or you come down with COVID and you need someone to get you some medicine, you just message the group. And there was a therapist who put this post out saying, I'm offering a half hour for free to like a limited bunch of people. I got a spot. And I'd never been to therapy before. And I was really quite blown away by what ended up coming out. And but I couldn't afford her services going forward. So she was like, check for therapy, but do a sliding scale so you can find people within your budget. And I basically looked through like a catalog of therapists, and the bio I connected with, I reached out to the guy that I'm going to. So yeah,
Oh, good.
it's pretty easy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you found it to be beneficial?
Very,
Yeah.
very. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to like, oh, I have added more butter. Just FYI, I've got a better dough stuff happening, Tom.
Oh, it's clumping up, eh?
Yeah. So
Mine-
I added in more dough, more butter than they suggested.
Okay. So mine is actually starting to take shape here.
Amazing.
It's still a little gooey and doughy, but that's probably just because I added 3 cups of butter and a lot of, or no, it couldn't have been 3 cups of butter. It was 3
That's a
quarters.
little too much butter.
Yeah, it was 3/4 of a cup.
I do wish I'd started it sooner, because as comics, we often hear like, oh, I'm doing this instead of going to therapy,
Yeah.
being on stage. And I'm one to tell you, go see a therapist.
Yeah, no doubt. It's only going to benefit you, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's
It kind of makes me think back to are you a fan of Gary Gulman?
yeah.
So
I am.
he
Yeah.
put out a special called The Great Depression. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic special. Great comedian overall. But there's a moment in his special, because it's kind of cut up between stand-up and like interviews with friends and family members. There's a scene where him and Bobby Kelly are sitting at a booth at a comedy club, and they start talking about like getting treatment and going to therapy and stuff. And he says that his fear, and a common fear with lots of comics, is if I go and I work out whatever is knotted up here, will I still be funny? Like, will I be okay? Will it get better? And he says the answer is always yes.
Oh, I can attest to that. Since I last saw you, because I've been one of the comics who started to do stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
And since going to therapy, I'm diving into family stuff more than I ever have, because I feel comfortable making light of it. I understand perspective a bit better. I totally agree with Gary. It's been so beneficial. I actually met him when he was last in Toronto at a show.
Okay.
He's very tall, and I'm
Yeah, so I've never actually seen him in person, but I have seen him on television, and he always struck me as like a giant, lanky man, But then when you see him in that the Great Depression, like the interview scenes, he's towering over his girlfriend. So she's either like 4'2", or he's got to be like 6'4" or 6'5" or something.
This recipe yields approximately 24 cookies. I am notorious for any recipe to go either way over or way under. I have a skill. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some balls. Is that fun to say? It's so fun. Balls. And then you're going to roll it in your little mix of sesame seed and sugar, or chia seed like me. I'm going to roll this around. I'll show the friends at home. And then you put it on your tray. So make a ball, roll it in the seeds. This sounds really dirty.
Just to add to the dirty language here, along with making balls, and I couldn't stop myself from laughing when I found out that tahini was in the same aisle as nut butter. I will refrain from making any jokes, but I don't think I have to.
I think hands down, for the number of times we said nuts or hot nuts on the show, Ricardo Mejias has the record because he came on to do granola bars with me, and
Oh.
yeah, the nut count on that show was high.
Yeah, he has 3 balls. I didn't know that. That's
Oh my god, it was too funny. Holy mackerel. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna roll these around and then put them on the tray. Before they go into the oven, we're gonna press them down, but let's make balls, guys.
now mine are kind of shaping up like this because
Oh,
I got
all right.
I got the black sesame seeds
Nice.
and then the brown sugar.
Excellent. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be good. And this in total bakes for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. I just like to remind everybody, every single oven is different. So it could be done in 15, you may need half an hour. It all depends. But like I say, if you are using aluminum foil instead of parchment to line your baking tray, you need less cooking time because the aluminum just makes it hotter and cooks a little bit faster. Well, there we go. Good fun tips. I'm really feeling like when the world or Toronto reopens, because I feel like the world's reopened and Toronto is still like in this weird, like, what do we do? I'm having a bake sale, damn it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think we need a comedy bake sale.
I like to try to be optimistic, but you know, I projected about 2 years at the beginning of this thing, and now that we're about 1 year in, now I'm saying 5.
I think the wildest fact that I read about the Spanish flu from our friends who did this 100 years ago, that virus was still in the system in going through people up until like the 60s.
Wow.
I mean, obviously it got weaker.
That's got some longevity to it.
Yeah. So it was still making the rounds for a very, very long time. Just less people were affected by it. But
yeah. Well, I think that might be the same case with us, as you know, if we can get our vaccines rolled out, then you know it might just be something that we have to deal with for a little while, and there might be the odd flare up in certain locations or just kind of infrequently. It won't be on the same scale as it is now, hopefully, but I do think that it's something that we'll have to deal with for quite a long time from now.
One thing I've been were you doing outdoor shows last summer when that was a bit of a thing, or have you just been laying low?
No, I laid low for a while, and then when things opened up again, I was back at some clubs and doing shows, and those were fun because at that point it's like the people who were coming out to the shows really wanted to be there. They felt cooped up. They're like true fans of comedy. They're willing to kind of I don't want to say risk their lives, but rather than stay at home, they would rather come out and support a live show. So those were some of the best audiences that you could have, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I was doing outdoor shows myself, but I do agree. Like it was like big park shows. It was kind of crazy doing comedy in a park. Like it was like, this is weird. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the whole thing about wiping down the mic. I am so grateful for that because man, I've held some stinky ones in my day. Oh, I think I'm going to have about 16. Again, it yields 24. How do I do this? I don't know. It's a skill, guys. It's a skill.
That's just because you got bigger balls.
I just have to make my balls tiny. Opposite of what my therapist would tell me.
I'm Irish, so I don't have to worry about that. My balls are already tiny.
Well, that's another show. It'll be. Oh, Lordy. Oh, man. All right. Have you gotten out of Dodge while the pandemic's been on, or have you been pretty much based at home?
So I've been lucky to be able to work through all of this.
Awesome.
Not with comedy, but with my day job.
Okay.
Because Doug Ford considers me essential, which was very flattering. But so I've been out and about, and then as things opened up in the summer, I was making trips down to Niagara, and just because I've got some friends and loved ones out there, and so I got to spend some time out there because they were opened up, but not for very long. It was maybe about two months, and then things were back on lockdown again. So
yeah, like even now at the time that we're filming this.
How about you?
Yeah, like even now at the time that we're filming this, there's rumors the province could be shut down again. So it's a real blip.
Yeah.
I've basically just kept to the Toronto area and either gone to Mimico or Etobicoke to see family. That's been about it. I have been doing a ton of stand-up online, which I've really taken to. Like I've trying to just make the best of it, But I've not been in a club since February of 2020.
Yeah, quite a while, eh?
Whew. I feel like
You feeling like you're going through withdrawals at all?
I think it's going to be sensory overload when I get to a club and I'm going to hear my name called and I'm going to walk through the crowd and there's going to be music. Like, I feel like I'm going to do a type 5 on crying. Speaking of rolls, you got to roll some balls. Yay! So, how are your balls looking, Tom?
They're ready to go, I think. I've got quite a few here.
Oh my God, you did. And have you?
But I think they're all right.
All right. So what I would suggest, if you're like,
yeah,
I haven't flattened them down yet, you're going to just take your hand and just give a little pat. Just gonna pat them. Pat your balls. There you go. As Dr. Ruth. This one
That's kind of like how they tell you to check for testicular cancer, actually. That's good. That's a good PSA to send to the people at home, too.
You're welcome. This one kind of looks like Pac-Man with the all right, so we're gonna do that, and then we'll do another one. Have you ever been asked that question of, do you find the glass half empty or half full?
I guess I have, but not in like in a serious way. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that.
I always answer it, it's in the middle.
I like that. That's a great answer.
It's either I'm like super big fan of being on the fence, or I'm just being like, no, it's in the middle. Which I guess is part of the whole it'll be fine kind of like,
Yeah, it is as it is. And you can't really change anything about it. No,
you really can't. It's worked out.
I do like that answer though, and in the future, do I have your permission to use that?
You can use it. Yeah, I hand that over to you. Yeah. Bon appetit. Cheers to it.
Bon appetit.
Gonna dip mine in my milk. All right.
I forgot the bourbon.
This is good.
Yeah, I really like mine. It's almost like it tastes almost like a peanut butter cookie, but like but not. It's not super sweet.
No,
there's like a slight bitterness to it with the poppy seeds on it. Like a nice balance between sweet and savory.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. And I like the little crunch of the sugar on top because it gives you a little texture difference. But this is just like a peanut butter cookie from back in the day. Oh my gosh. Oh, good. The color inside's really nice. I'm happy with how that turned out.
Give me a little look-see at mine here.
It's awesome. Yeah, this is a tasty cookie.
It's not super doughy on the inside, but soft.
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad we made these. These are awesome. Mm.
Me too. Like I said, I didn't even know what tahini was until you sent me this recipe. But now I'm gonna have to find a lot of ways to cook with it because they don't sell small containers of tahini.
It'll be fine.